in his criminal problems. And I think this week, because a lot of that stuff was from the last week, that's all post Mark Meadows. And I think everybody who's watching needs to understand, from somebody who did this work for 7 years, you don't give Mark Meadows immunity unless the evidence he has is unimpeachable.
Oh, yeah.
And I said this yesterday. I want Republican voters to understand this. What's going to be happening in March? He's going to be sitting in a courtroom in Washington, D.C., with Mark Meadows 20 feet away from him, saying he committed crimes in front of me on my watch. Not some rogue prosecutor, Joe.
He's former prosecutor. I want to stop you right there, and I want to...
Like I said before, when I see Trump in jail, then I'll believe it. Because what are they going to do without Trump? But Trump is fading. Like, Trump is just, he's not there. He's still got those dopes to support him. God knows if you're one of them. I'll pray for you. I don't know. Because, it's over for Trump. I mean, it's just, like, he's been a disaster. His character arc has collapsed. And them putting him in jail means they have some other way of, without Trump, they don't have a center to their universe. Their universe in the media and the Democratic Party surrounds hating Trump, and Trump is the center of their universe. What are they going to talk about if Trump's in jail? And so this thing's going to go on. I don't know whether it's going to be hanging over their heads during the election. It's going to be all these things. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think that part will be interesting. I'd be shocked if they put Trump in jail and then have to put up some other Republican candidate, because Joe Biden is losing to Trump in 5 major swing states. And if they had just a reasonable candidate, the Trumpers, they hate the Republican Party, the rhinos, but they'll vote for a rhino over Joe Biden. And so it's the same thing with the Democrats. Democrats will vote for Joe Biden or anybody else if Trump's running against him. But if you take Trump out of the picture, the Democrats lose enthusiasm, they don't really like Joe Biden, then what do they do, right? Even if it's a crappy candidate like Christie or somebody, I don't think Christie will win. He's a disaster as well. But the Republicans would be much better off without Trump. Because without Trump, it's a walk-in, right? The person just walks into the White House, doesn't have to open their mouths, let the incompetence of Biden just dominate. The same way they ran against Trump, run against Biden. And, again, it's all rigged and fixed, doesn't matter.
Underline what I've said, because we have a lot of Democrats watching this show, but as I'm sure you know, we have a lot of Republicans that are watching this show. And I just want to say to my Republican friends that are watching, everybody that's testifying against Donald Trump, they're not editorial writer.
Look at her.
It's for the New York Times or primetime hosts at MSNBC. They are all Trumpers who stayed with Trump to the very end.
Look, this is a guy who was Velcroed to Trump's hip for the entire 2020 campaign and all the post-campaign nonsense. And so this is deadly. It's done. He's going to be convicted.
But
it's over.
Can't he run for...
So, we'll see. When I see Trump in jail, I see Trump in jail. It looks like he should be convicted. And I'm not following this much, but it looks like, just one of these cases that he should be convicted. It's just whether they do it or not. It's all rigged and whatever. But then a couple days later, he goes on CNN. Again, Dana Bash here.
We're joined now by former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, one of the candidates, of course, challenging Donald Trump for the Republican nomination. Thank you so much for being here, Governor. You're also a former prosecutor and a former friend, very good friend. Knowing him and knowing the way he works, what do you think his play is here?
He knows that he's committed fraud. He knows that this is over, and this is just about playing to the grandstand, damn it. He knows that he's going to have very little impact upon the damages in this case, no matter what he says, because he knows that at core, he did exactly what they're accusing him of doing, which was to inflate his net worth in an attempt to be able to borrow more money and to get more favorable terms.
Okay, all right. We know. We don't need to listen to this. Trump is a disaster. Fish Boy is going down, and he is not as sharp as he was. And he's sold us out, right? And he took $1 million from Pfizer and Operation Warp Speed.
What?
He set up the people at
What?
the event in January. I want to talk a little bit more about the Alex Jones things in a moment. I covered that on my other channel yesterday. Just one more thing here. Gail Gadot